Hey folks, I'm Tony.
And I'm Tina.
And we're TNT RVing.
What are we up to today, Tony?
Tina, we're going to be checking out the all-new Haloview BT7 Touch camera. This thing is pretty slick. We really like the BT7. Back in about 8 months ago, Haloview reached out to us, asked if we'd check it out. We did an installation video on that and really liked it. So when they reached back out to us and asked if we'd like to take a look at the BT7 Touch, absolutely. So, looking forward to opening this thing up and sharing with you what it looks like.
Yeah, so come on, let's go open it up.
Alrighty, so let's open up the box and see what's inside. And first off, I'll take that like so. And inside we have instructions, a user manual, and then I want to show you the camera first. And the camera of the BT7 and the BT7 Touch are identical. It's 1080p, real low latency. It does a great job. If you have a really long fifth wheel, they have an antenna that will help transmit that signal faster, and you won't have any issues. Know that that's available. The other thing I wanted to show you is it comes with a gasket, and this plate actually mounts on the back here when you're putting it all together. And the whole pattern that's on here is going to fit your pre-mounted Furrion camera system that's on many of these RVs. I actually prefer the Haloview because they're more cost effective. And then Tina, another thing I want to show with the camera is this button on the bottom here. And what we're going to need to do is when we want to pair our older Haloview BT7 to the new monitor, we'll have to press this button to sync it and to pair the camera with the monitor. So let's take a look here at the new monitor. Of course, this is why we wanted to check this thing out. And we'll show you the old one as well. So ooh, look at that. I mean, looks very like high-tech looking, huh?
No, it looks like a little mini iPad.
It really does. So real quick here, these are antenna mounts. So you'll put your two antennas on there as well. On this side, we have a power button. This is one of the new changes here, a Type C. So you could power this up using a USB Type C power, or the traditional cigarette lighter plug in the DC on that side. And then on the other side here, we have a micro SD slot. This is a light sensor, and then of course this is the pairing button as well. So okay, really slick. I like the size of this. And let's take a look at our old camera. So this is the BT7. Oops, let's see if I can do this without making a mess. Here we go. And here is the difference. The old one, you have, keep in mind, a sun glare shield, which is kind of nice. And of course, you can see the buttons on the side, and we no longer need that since this is the Touch model. And of course, if you're noticing, I kind of rigged this. I'm going to set this down. I had a old Garmin GPS weighted stand, and I modified that along using a plastic core, and went ahead and put this mount on there. And this fits real nice in our little cubby, and I'll show you exactly how we have that set up and what we'll do with the new one. So let's continue on. Team, I have the other thing. They give you some more options for mounting this. There's a suction cup mount as well, so if you want to put this on the windshield or what have you, which is nice. Okay. And then we have, of course, a sticky mount. So if you wanted to stick this on your dash or somewhere, has good 3M tape. And I elected not to do that with ours, but you have a couple neat options to mount it. Get creative. That's what I did. Of course, there's some hardware in here and some wire connectors. Yeah. So they give you those, which is nice. And then I think let's take a look here. Here's our antennas. So antenna for the camera in the rear, and then of course the two for the monitor. And we've got some power cables. Here's that cigarette lighter adapter power cable that we use, which I like as well. Then of course here's the USB to USB-C if you'd like to power the monitor that way. And this is another pairing cable, along with, if you're pre-wired for Furrion, this is the cable you could use for that as well. So let's go ahead and I'm going to show you. We'll mount this on our mount here. We'll show you what it looks like inside. We'll do a pairing and show you some of the functionality of the touchscreen. All right, so let's take a look. This is our old setup, and this is what I really like about that Garmin weighted stand, and it fits really well in there. I also added this foam at the bottom of the camera, or the monitor, and what's nice is when we're driving, it's just rock solid there. It doesn't vibrate. I really like that setup. So we're going to try to do that with the new monitor, and we'll show you a little bit how the touchscreen works. All right, so we have the new monitor mounted on our Garmin weighted stand, which I really like.
I'm glad it fit.
And then what's nice as well is the monitor just rides so nice right there on the dash. I don't think I'll need to add that piece of foam. So we'll see once we're using it how that goes. And then I elected to use the cigarette lighter style 12-volt plug. I like that. You just hit this button. It's going to now power up, as you can see. And right now we don't have a signal. We're getting an error message, and that's because we're going to need to pair it. So that first screen has the 4 cameras. We're going to go to this menu right here and then simply select the pairing button. It tells us, please press pair key on camera or transmitter box, and we'll go ahead and do that and get this paired and show you what that will look like now.
Okay, but you're already using the touchscreen. What do you think?
Absolutely love it. It's just right there. Anything you need, it's just so easy to navigate through the menu instead of the side buttons.
Toggling through.
So, so far, I like it. So we're going to go up and hit that pairing button. And what else I wanted to show you, if you see those 3 red lights.
Oops, sorry.
in your face. All right, if you can see the 3 red lights, those are actually marker lights, and you need to have all 3 of those lights. What that does is it tells following vehicles that you're 80 inches or wider. So if you do not have a pre-mounted spot for your rear camera and you think you could just pop that lens off of there and mount your camera there, it's not a good idea. What I would do is go ahead and simply, you could remove that lens, grab power from that, drill a hole below it, and then mount the camera. So that's what I would recommend. And you have you know, it's really easy to do. The other thing, I wouldn't use a screw over 1 inch. I'd probably use a 3/4 inch screw, because you would be able to simply go through the wall. These walls are 1 inch thick. All right, so I wanted to show you this error code that we have right over there. And that's because the SD card, we have to get our micro SD card and put that in there, like so. And use this to kind of push it in. And you can see that goes away. Yeah. So that's what that error code was all about. Oh. All right. Oh, we just lost our power. Here we need to put the truck back on. There we go. And you can see now.
Now we synced it, and look at that.
So great. 1080p quality.
Here, I'm gonna go see if you can see me and hear me.
Well, okay, I'm gonna have to turn the, okay, let's go.
No, I could hear you before.
Oh, you could?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go, let's see here, we'll go back out, hit that.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. And this is just really neat. We've been playing around with it, and I wanted to share with you all of the different, you can do up to 4 cameras on here. If you select camera 1, there's camera 1. Of course, we don't have a camera there. We have channel 4 is our rear camera. You also have a Q mode, which is really neat, and that shows all the 4 cameras at the same time. We're gonna go back to channel 4. And then I wanted to show you the menu. You press the menu here, and then here's the volume for the rear microphone on the camera. You might be able to hear some birds in back, but you can also adjust the volume as needed, or simply just mute it, and that'll shut off that. Go ahead and hit the back arrow. You also have your pairing button. This is what I had to press to pair that camera. And as you can see, there's a countdown from 50 to 0 seconds. And that was a couple attempts. I wasn't actually hitting the button quite right, and we finally got it though. So we're gonna go back here, and we're gonna go back into the menu. Here's picture mode. So picture, you could adjust the brightness, contrast, color, camera LEDs. So this has LEDs in the back. You go ahead and turn that on, and that'll help when you're backing up or what have you at night. It'll light up the area and you'll be able to see. Let's go back in here in the menu. Of course, we have mirror. So if, depending on how you have your camera set up, if you would want to flip it around or what have you, you go ahead and hit that. You could go upside down if you had the camera mounted upside down and flipped around. So we're gonna put it back the way we like it. And then we're gonna go back, Q mode. So this is a bunch of different configurations, how you could split the monitor from camera 1 and 2, depending on how you want that. So this is kind of neat as well. Let's go back into the menu. You have your settings here, camera trigger. So if you wanted to set up maybe the right camera on the turn signal when you flipped it over, it will allow you to do that, as well as color auto dimming. That's really neat. So you could turn this on. Actually, we're going to turn that on. So when we're going through a tunnel or what have you, the monitor is not going to be really bright and in your face and blinding you. It'll dim it with the light sensor that's on here. The other neat thing in this settings, screen off, you could go ahead and set that time as well. Scanning, you could set this so it'll scan through all the different channels. Park line, you could adjust how the park line is all set up. You could slide it over, what have you. The recording, we went ahead and turned the recording on. We also formatted this card, right, simply by touching that. And then we have it selected so the camera system will continually loop on there. So that's what that is. Of course, the time is off, but the date is correct. We'll have to adjust that. And then of course you can play what you recorded. So I really, as you can tell, it's really easy to maneuver through the display on this Touch, and I really like this compared to our old. The other, we had to toggle through the buttons and stuff. It was still user friendly, but this is just easier to use. So, yeah. So what we're gonna do a little later in the season, we're gonna do a follow-up video on this, and I'm anxious to actually do some recording and share a real-world experience of using the BT7 Touch. And as the other one, the BT7 went, I have a feeling we're not going to have any issues with this. At any rate, I hope you found this video helpful, useful, entertaining possibly, and if you did, I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe to TNT RVing.
Yeah, give us a big thumbs up, a like, and we'll see you at the campground. Thanks, Haloview, for sending us the BT7 Touch.
Appreciate it. Take care.
TNT.